Hello, chat. Hello. Welcome to another stream, and I am your good host as always, Rosemary, darling, back on my nonsense. What is up? Today, we are going to be reading a little visual novel I found literally today called Graveyard Girls. Or was it yesterday? It was one of the two. One of those two. Either way, so let me read you the store page while the music starts up. That's a nice little music box music. Let me read you. Hello, Fallen. Graveyard Girls is a Halloween-themed Yuri visual novel about complicated grief and overcoming hardships. Collect Ellie's scribbles to learn about her struggles, befriend a mysterious girl, and have a conversation about death. I figured it'd be perfect for this crowd. Alright. So here's the opening screen. Oh, well, let me see if I can turn down the music. There we go. The music was just a little bit loud. Oh, we'll turn the sound and... Oh, there's voices! Okay, thank God. I don't have to do reading for everybody if I don't want to. Let's see. This should be good. Everything here should be good. Let's see what this says. This game contains mature content and is not intended for audiences under the age of 18 years old. If you are struggling, please consider reaching out to a trusted friend, family member, or mental health professional. Content of this game is subjected to copyright and may not be edited or redistributed for any purposes. Software and a number of licenses, including the MIT license and GNU Lesser General Public License. And there we go. I'm really hoping that there's nothing that'll get me banned on YouTube. The review didn't mention any, like, you know, really overly saucy anything. So, here's hoping. Graveyard Girls depicts the complicated and traumatic aftermath of losing a parent during young adulthood. This topic has been addressed as authentically as possible. Alright, so if this sort of thing is like, it's too much for you, I completely understand and I respect that. Please take care of yourself. Your mental health comes first. But yeah, let us get going with the story. If you're struggling with grief, you may not have a safe experience playing this game. Content warning: Graveyard Girls contains strong language, mature humor, drug abuse, self-harm, mentions of suicide, alcohol use, and sexual themes. This game is intended for players age 18 years or older. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's hope there aren't any zomboobs or skeletitties. Also, I still haven't figured out how to get YouTube chat showing up on my screen. I'm sorry about that. Would you like to continue? Yes, I wish to continue. Choices in this game unlock scribbles. These are available in the memory section of the main menu after unlocking. Yay! The leaves crunch below my feet as I make my way through the cemetery, counting each row that I pass. A frigid gust of wind catches my hair and blows it into my vision. I tuck it away carefully. I can't help but remember how he used to tease me about finding my long hair everywhere. He'd always tell me how beautiful it was. Girl, I can tell you've been through some shit. Once I find the section I've been searching for, I let out a sigh, although it's not of relief. Turn that down a little bit more. The cold stone inscription stares back at me, expressionless. Jason Gray, beloved husband and father. As I read the name quietly to myself, I feel like he's greeted me in his own way. What am I supposed to say? Nothing seems quite right, so I settle on the simplest of phrases. Hi, Dad. I made it. I know it's been a while. In truth, it's been too long. The last time I visited, he didn't even have a headstone. I'm sorry. I should have come sooner. What am I thinking? Coming here isn't gonna help. As if talking to a polished rock is gonna bring any kind of closure. I turn to leave, but there's a magnetism to this place. As if he'd reached for my hand and said, "You're leaving already?" I gaze back at his headstone and whisper to myself, "You want me to stay? Fine." My mom always insisted that I be careful not to stand on graves when visiting cemeteries. But that was out of respect for strangers. This is my dad's resting place. I'd sat on his lap 1,000 times before. What would he care if I rested on his grave now? I know he wouldn't have minded. She's definitely been through something, oh yeah. Without another moment of hesitation, I brush away the leaves and sit back against his headstone. I lay my notebook across my thighs and settle into place. Aw, this is pretty art. If I'm staying for a while, I'm getting comfy. I glimpse towards the late afternoon sun and pause to admire the golden glow of autumn. He loved this time of year. Well, I'm guessing not much has changed with you. He'd appreciate that sarcasm. Dark humor was his thing. Your dad sounds like a great guy. That's probably where I got it from. I'll just sit here and talk to myself, like a crazy person. I take a deep breath in, but the crisp air won't soothe the ache in my lungs. I need to say something. Anything. Let's save. Let's talk about Mom. Give Dad an update about Mom. I guess it's time to tell you what's been going on. You might not love what I have to say next. You'll probably be angry. At least I think you would have been. I'll try to keep it short. So, you died, and no one saw it coming. One day you were gone. I don't think I've processed that yet, to be honest. Mom couldn't handle the pain, so she shut down. I guess that was her coping mechanism. She spent months crying over you. She barely slept or ate. I didn't expect this to be easy, but I thought I'd still have my mom to lean on. I convinced myself that I was lucky to have her, regardless of how she was handling this. That's what I kept telling myself on the worst days. We weren't alone either. People tried to support her. Aunt Cora wanted her to visit a therapist, but Mom locked the doors and ignored her phone. I tried to talk with her too, but it was like she couldn't hear me. She was a shell of a person, shutting everything and everyone out. I thought she needed time, but one morning she packed her clothes and bought a plane ticket. There was no warning. She said she'd be back in 2 weeks, that she needed a vacation. Mom left, and it sucks to say, do you mind, Mr. Drying Machine? But I knew she wouldn't come back. I've seen her a handful of times since. One of those times was to sell the house that you built. I still drive past it. I like to pretend that you'll be waiting on the porch, having a cigarette or watering the plants. It's soothing in a strange way. Like opening my favorite chapter in an old book, pretending I don't know the ending. I paused to catch my breath. Mom's in an apartment on the other side of the country with her new boyfriend, but I stayed here. She helped with my tuition and rent, but she's gone. Honestly, if you saw her today, you wouldn't recognize her. I feel like I never really knew her. She left me behind, and I think it's because I remind her of you. There's a hole in my heart where Mom used to be in. I hated her. Part of me still does. I used to think it would be easier if she disappeared. Isn't that horrible? Fuck me, saying it was worse than feeling it quietly. Daddy, I spent so much time hating her. She took up all the space I had left in my heart. But the worst part of it all is that I think I forgot to deal with losing you. That's why I'm here today. Because the person I need to talk to most in this world isn't part of this world. I look skyward as I blink back welling tears. And Cora used to tell me to think of you smiling down on me. I keep thinking how sweet she used to say that, but when I picture you, you're looking up. I know that sounds dark, but seriously, what's left of you is 6 feet below me. Cora wanted me to remember you in a happy way. I get that. I'm just too literal. I search for what to say next and wonder what he'd say if he were here. The truth is, I don't know what you'd feel. I didn't get a chance to know you better. Cora's words echo in my mind. Dad's smile. What was your smile like anyway? And why didn't I try harder to preserve it in the first place? A frustration that I can't swallow begins to form in my throat. I stay silent, afraid that my voice will break, and the rest of me will follow. I do my best to reanimate my dad's grin in my mind's eye, but there's nothing. A stray leaf dances in front of me before heading west with the wind. I push away the distraction and close my eyes, forcing myself to focus on his lost expressions. I try to revisit each part of him. His amber eyes, his perfectly straight nose, the way his eyebrows furrowed when I asked too many questions. Slowly, I could piece him together, but he wouldn't assemble. Even his voice was a dulling whisper. Why couldn't I remember how he spoke? One exact phrase plucked from my memory would be enough to hear him, but the words remained unspoken. I couldn't even remember how he sounded when he said, "I love you." A familiar pain begins to claw at my chest, one I buried under a mountain of pills early this morning. No, not now. I inhale a ragged breath and shove the shadows away. It's something I've practiced for a while now. Keep talking. Distract yourself. You know, it's good that I visited before the snow. Winter is nearly here. You might not realize it, but today is your favorite holiday. It's also the day you died. 4 years ago. Maybe you knew that part, though. He suffered long enough to know he was going to die, I think. That was the detail that made me vomit when they told me about his accident. He was awake when the ambulance arrived. Why wasn't it faster? In my constant reimaginings, he'd always been unconscious. I couldn't bring myself to picture any details. I didn't want to remember how he suffered, but it was a part of his story. It was a part of his life. His suffering and vices had even drifted into my dreams lately. The anniversary always amplified them. I tried smoking and drinking just to see what you thought was so great about it. I must have gotten the genes from you because they're my favorite crutch now. Please drink responsibly, even if that means not drinking at all. Sorry, just had to break from the reading to PSA at you guys a little bit. I don't know why you tortured yourself with them. At least I have my reasons. But I did know. My mom stopped hiding their broken marriage once his casket was closed. I knew things were rough, but I didn't realize how destructive they were. Lately, I've started to question if my mother was the true monster in his life. It's funny, I spent so much time asking myself why you tortured yourself with shitty choices when I mirror them daily. That's why I'm here too. Because I'm your daughter. I came here to suffer, not to heal. This pain doesn't mend like a paper cut, Dad. It festers like a gunshot. I'm so frustrated because now I know who Mom is. She's shown the world her true colors. You deserved better. Why can't I picture her so perfectly? It's not fair. I bite my lip and push my mother's face from my memory. This isn't about her. Don't let her steal this moment. Anyway, I've been writing. Quite a lot, actually. Almost daily. It's therapeutic, I think. Getting my feelings on paper helps me feel detached from them. They're a little less heavy when I read them aloud. When I write, I can push the darkest thoughts I'm having away, even momentarily. The best part is, I'm not afraid that someone's listening and analyzing. Oh, good, because we are. It feels safer than the grief counseling I attended. I don't think the professionals were judging me, but when they listened, I felt them processing my words and misunderstanding. Just because I write dark things doesn't mean I'm a dark person. I'm reaching for brighter thoughts and feelings when I let those words go. My new therapist understands. She's different than the others. It finally feels important that I go to my appointments. I don't look forward to them because they're a lot. But when I leave, I feel lighter. Like I've lessened the load on my shoulders. I get scared sometimes because each day is a wild card. I hate feeling like everything is out of my control. Girl, same. I'm terrified that therapy can't save me. I don't want to bottle things up again. Holding that shit in was the worst idea I've ever had. Fuck it. Dad, I'm done pretending. I drink. I smoke. I popped some pills before I left the house. I'll do anything to be numb. And I'm afraid that scribbling my feelings isn't enough. I thought the pain was dulling, but it's worse than the day you died. I know you're not here today, but I keep picturing you in every tomorrow. And each day, that image grows a little dimmer. Between losing you and Mom taking off, I've been trying so hard to feel empty. Being happy felt out of reach, so feeling less became the best option. Turns out being destructive couldn't save me. You can't hear drowning girls cry. I wipe away the overflowing stream of tears with my sleeve and shut my eyes. Practice those deep breaths. It's okay to be upset. I inhale and exhale, but the breaths are intruded on. The earth sways below as the sensation of floating overcomes me, almost like I'm sitting on a boat. Uh-oh. Why does it feel like the world's drifting? It's probably those stupid allergy pills. A twinge of concern washes over me as I try to imagine the state of my liver, but I excuse the thoughts quickly. It's not like I eat vegetables or drink enough water anyway. Coffee, bread, and cheese are my food groups. Bitch! Bitch. Bitch. Affectionate. It was dumb to take more pills before leaving. I know it's a bad day when they can't keep me from crying. I try to focus on the positives. At least I was doing better. Taking them as prescribed was a challenge, but I'd managed to for a while. Today was a hiccup. They're usually a subtle but helpful bandage. I'm an idiot for thinking they'd handle this visit. Subtle can't cover this. How could I ever expect this visit to be easy? It was naive of me. Today is always going to fucking sting. The words I've whispered under my breath 1,000 times echo out once again. You're never gonna be okay. I sit with the words, you're never going to be okay. Ever. Ever. Again. I tell myself that I needed to get those words out of my system, but I know that they're bound to sit on the tip of my tongue again, waiting to escape. With my eyes still shut, I sighed and let my thoughts drift with the vertigo. Maybe those pills weren't so useless. Oh, leaf! A chilly gust lifts, fluttering leaves away from the earth, and I can hear them dancing through the air. I begin to imagine that I'm flying with them, twirling away from this place, away from my body. Hello? A voice? Must have imagined it. Are you okay? What the? I open my eyes and stumble upward in a daze. I hurriedly dust off my clothes before looking towards the stranger behind the question. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I'm taken aback by your presence. I didn't expect to see anyone here. No, it's fine. You didn't scare me. My throbbing heart tells a different story. I suddenly feel thankful that I'm not the blushing type. Are you alright? I'm fine, why? She gestures towards my dad's headstone and suddenly raises her eyebrows. I think you were sleeping on someone's grave. Did you, know them? I laugh half-heartedly. It's my dad. He wouldn't mind. Oh! The girl's posture stiffens noticeably, and I remind myself to tone back the abruptness. You're not talking to a ghost anymore. Act normal. Let's ask her for her name. What's your name? I'm Lucia. And you are? I quickly realized that I should have introduced myself first. It would have been the polite thing to do. I always feel so disjointed when I meet new people. It's embarrassing. Bet you just have social anxiety, it's okay. My name's Ellie. It's nice to meet you. That sounded more robotic than genuine, but at least I'm trying. So, Ellie, do you mind if I ask why you're napping in a cemetery? Well, it wasn't on the agenda. I took allergy medication, and it hit a little harder than I anticipated. Ugh, I've been there. What are you allergic to? I scrambled to come up with a good excuse. Not too sure. Had some hives and figured it was best to take a pill. Four? Ma'am, no. Ma'am, no. I get it. Sometimes cats make my eyes itchy. I pet them anyway. They're worth it. She loves cats. I love her. I love this bitch. This is a good bitch. I can't help but smile back at Lucia. She seems sweet. So, you were visiting someone too? Lucia's smile falters. Nice job! You're always good at brightening the room! Yes, my sister passed away. Her name was Kate. She died last week. I can't help but regurgitate the sentence that everyone had spoken to me in the past. I'm sorry. Lucia shifts her feet uncomfortably and stares at the ground. I remember standing like that too, unsure of how to respond. Oh, sorry, that wasn't the right thing to say. Hold up, I'm gonna have a bite of pizza. I don't mind, it's what everyone says. I know, I've been there. My dad died 4 years ago, so the memories are still pretty fresh. Lucia's eyes widen fearfully. They are? I struggle to backtrack, jumping to console her as best I can. Not in the same way that you're feeling. I mean, it's his anniversary today, so it feels closer than usual. Lucia's shoulders drop slightly as her gaze softens. That's understandable. I get it now. I'll be visiting on Kate's day too. Does visiting get easier? A Molotov mixture of disgust and embarrassment builds in my chest. What am I supposed to say? I feel like we'll get the best ending if we're, like, brutally honest with ourselves and others. Because that's what my therapist is telling me is the best for me in my life. And so, you know, same principle probably applies with grief. So we'll tell her the truth. I decide the truth is my best option. I don't know. Her eyebrows furrow slightly, a hint of confusion glimmers in her gaze. What do you... I mean that I haven't been here since he was... I trail off, the words too heavy to speak. I haven't talked about his burial before. The smooth and polished shine of his cherry wood casket revisits me. No, don't cry in front of her. Don't scare her. I shake my head to try and find my way back to the present. Sorry. Lucia nods in silent understanding. We pause for a moment, both not sure how to continue. Lucia takes a step closer, trying her best to mend the gap between us. Ellie, you don't have to explain. I'm sorry that I brought it. I expect the knots in my stomach to twist and tighten, but they nearly surrender as Lucia looks at me apologetically. Yeah, that's because she's cute. And instead of bearing the words and leaving them to wait for my notebook, I speak up. I want to explain. Lucia smiles softly with a hint of encouragement. When it came to visiting, I couldn't do it. It never felt right. My memories of him aren't in this spot. They're everywhere but here. I tried once, but it wasn't long after he'd passed. He was full of life, so his graveside... it wasn't a place I could reflect on him. Until today? Yeah, today I wanted to try again. I'm not exactly sure why. I guess I hoped it would help with closure. Lucia looks towards my father's headstone. Those are beautiful flowers. I like the arrangement you chose. I bite at my lip unconsciously. Thanks, but I didn't leave those. I think his sister was here earlier. Cora is big on flowers. Oh, well, she has good taste. Sorry to focus on the flowers, I can't help myself. I'm a florist! And she's a florist. Oh, you may not like it, but this is what peak female performance looks like. The feminine desire to open a coffee shop and a library and be a florist all at the same time. Am I right? That's interesting. The anxious realization that I never thought to bring my dad flowers hits me. It never even crossed my mind. Does Lucia think it's rude that I didn't? Maybe you could suggest a bouquet for my dad? I should have brought one. Hey, if it's not your thing, don't feel like you have to buy them. This is so cute and sad. What the... Right? Like, it's like very sweet. It's very genuine when you choose the option to be genuine. And I feel like that's good. Like, it feels very organic. It feels very natural. Like, this feels like an actual scenario that could or has potentially happened to someone. Lucia smiles carefully as she reads me like an open book. I do have an idea, though, if you want to leave him something meaningful. Please, I'd love to. I expected not to mean that, but for some reason, I want to. Wait here, please. I nod as Lucia walks past me. I flip through my notes instead of staring after her, doing my best not to act entranced. Here comes the gay feelings. Where did this girl come from? She's so sweet. The crunch of fallen leaves under footsteps carries from the distance. Lucia stands closer than before. Pretty girl! I brought you this! She reaches into her bag and extends her hand. Oh, bitch! She's so pretty. Oh, look at that! Have you seen a more smoochable face? Have you seen a more smoochable face? Like, it's okay if the answer is yes and it's mine. They're lesbians, Harold. Sorry, just had to take a sip of tea. A single icy blue rose sits between her thumb and forefinger. I love it! I reach forward, but stop in hesitation. Achievement unlocked! Lucia's gift! Where did you get it? It was left at Kate's grave. A gasp escapes my lips and I shake my head. I can't take that. No, don't worry. Kate would want your father to have a flower. There's something so sweet about moments like this shared grief kind of thing. Ooh, sorry, that line hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh, give me a moment. I'll be good. Oh my god. Oh, because it just reminds me, because earlier this year, I'm gonna take the time in this stream to be a little bit more serious. Because I feel like it's befitting the situation, so, because as some of you probably know, my friend Twigdashil passed away earlier this year, and I've been trying to use the grief from that to kind of like help the others who were caught up in that, and help other people that I met after that, and just trying to channel that grief in a positive way, and this just really reminds me of that. And so it's just really nice. Whew. She doesn't like roses anyway. Lucia trails off, realizing what she said. I mean, didn't. Kate didn't like roses. I try my best to reassure her with my gaze as I accept the rose. God, this is so sweet. What the fuck? Thank you. That present tense thing, it goes away. Don't feel like you need to jump to correct yourself. Yeah. It's really well written. As someone who lost all their grandparents in the last, 4 years, I can relate. Yeah. Oh my god. I love this, because it's very, very organic and genuine. Oh, I love it. Time will take care of it. Lucia nods silently in response. As I kneel against the cold earth to place the blue rose on my dad's grave, I realize how fresh the flower is. The edges of the petals have barely begun to wilt. I feel Lucia's eyes on my back. Before turning towards her, I ask the question on my mind. Lucia? When was Kate's funeral? Yesterday. As I face Lucia, I wanted to ask her why she's here today. I want to know how she's doing. I want to hug her. Me too! God, I want to hug both these girls. These young women, I want to hug them both and get us all in just this big, snuggly blanket pile. And then we'll all have a good cry, and I'll, get everyone tea. And sorry, I punched my mic a little bit. I want to make her feel less alone, even if for a fraction of a second. I want to give her what I never had. Oh, a moment of silence passes by. But before I can ask Lucia to let me in, she breaks the silence herself. Are you still tired? I massage the back of my neck absent-mindedly and laugh a little. Yeah. Did the dark circles give me away? Lucia giggles softly. No, your eyes are fine. That was kind of her to lie about. I love this line too! Oh man, I love this. This is... oh, it's so sweet. I've looked in a mirror before. I can't believe I fell asleep. It's a little embarrassing. Don't worry about it. Do you drink coffee? Yes. Let me buy you one. Yes, have a cute coffee date. You don't want to sleep through Halloween? There's a great coffee shop in the Old Town district. Old Town? Isn't that a little far? Did you drive here? No, I walked. Well, I don't mind giving you a ride. Let me take you. It's my treat. Unless you have other plans? I don't, but... a part of me remains hesitant. Do it. Take her up on the offer. Have a cute little Halloween coffee shop date. Please, 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 please! Halloween coffee shop date! Getting into carts with strangers isn't something my parents encourage, that's for sure. Do it. The stranger's cute and gay. Do it. Do it. She seems harmless enough, but I don't actually know her. Plus, today is not exactly an easy day for me. All the better to spend it with a new friend, and then become girlfriends, and then snuggle. Lucia quietly reads over my rigid stance. Without explanation, she grins and starts to giggle at me. Did you want to take a selfie together? What? You can send it to a friend. That way, if you go missing, they'll know exactly who to look for. I smile back at her and suddenly shake my head. Nah, it's fine. I stick up my thumb in a hitchhiking fashion. I love the thrill of getting into a stranger's car. Lucia playfully rolls her eyes before winking at me. Buckle up then, we're going for a ride. Coffee, Halloween, coffee date, Halloween, coffee date, gay Halloween, coffee date, gay Halloween, coffee date! Oh, look at them. We head towards the road, walking past rows of headstones side by side. I didn't imagine I'd be leaving here with someone. A feeling of walking close to her is strangely comforting. I guess I always expected to be here alone. Even if I had a special person in my life, I wouldn't ask them to come here. It's hard to understand what it's like to visit this place, unless you're missing someone. Don't worry, that was just congestion. I'm not crying, I promise. I'm gonna save. The drive to the coffee shop is uneventful. Lucia's car has heated seats, so I try my best to subtly warm my hands under my legs. Heated seats! Oh, cars with heated seats. I'm not a big car person, but heated seats in a car are worth it if you're like me and you need the extra warmth. Trust me, they're so good. It started kind of sad, but now it's, I don't know, hopeful is the best I can put it. Yeah, it's like, but it's not like stupidly sweet. It's not like, oh, everything's gonna be hunky-dory. It's like, it's sweet and uplifting and hopeful in a way that's realistic and organic. I really like this. I'm really liking this so far. And the writing's good. So so far we got a passing grade. Let's go. She doesn't seem to notice and stays focused on driving. We chat about the weather, mostly. Once we reach the Old Town District, Lucia carefully navigates towards the last parking spot on the street. Oh, it's so cute. This is the place! I haven't been here in forever. After stepping out of the car, Lucia tugs gently on my sweater and guides me to the crosswalk. She's practically bouncing towards the cafe. Oh, this music's so cute! I'm sorry, I'm jamming. Once we cross, we find ourselves at the front doors. Despite the chilly weather, they still offer outdoor seating. Outdoor seating in chilly weather with a warm drink is so good, though. A waitress steps outside to greet us with a smile on her face. Welcome! If you'd like to take a seat, I'll be right with you. As the waitress steps inside, I move to follow her. Lucia pulls at my sleeve again with an expectant grin. Let's sit out here. It's more private. Yes! As we take our seats outside the cafe, I can feel the energy of the cemetery fall away. Our table is vibrantly decorated with Halloween-themed trinkets and candles. This is so cute. I can't argue with that. She's definitely chosen a festive spot. The street is bustling with ghouls and witches. Even our waitress is dressed up. Ah! Imagine going to a little coffee shop where all the baristas and waitresses are dressing up. Ah! Ooh. Sorry, I just went full Happy Halloween! Can I interest you in one of our spooky specials? Lucia's eyes light up immediately. Oh, what are they? The waitress grins, realizing she's hooked Lucia in. Lucy and I were kindred spirits. We are the same person. Except for the fact that I'm not allergic to cats, thank God. If I was, I think my life would be hell. Today we have our pumpkin cheesecake paired with any of our fall specialty drinks for only $8.99. Bitch, that's such a good price! Cheesecake and a special drink for only like $9? This is a steal! If you're craving something warm and hearty, we also have butternut squash soup with one of our fresh baked biscuits. I wish this place were real. Oh, I wish this place were real. I want butternut squash soup now. Lucia squeals with delight. Bitch, me too, the fuck. I love cheesecake! Can I get the pumpkin cheesecake with a pumpkin spice latte, please? I guess she likes pumpkins. Bitch, me too. After jotting down Lucia's order, the waitress's gaze darts towards me. What would you like? That pumpkin cheesecake sounds fine. And a drink? I rack my brain for anything other than the pumpkin spice latte. Sorry, what are your other fall drinks? Maple pecan and chai lattes. Oh, get a chai latte, get a chai latte, get a chai latte, get a chai latte. Lucia raises her eyebrows and whispers exaggeratedly across the table. Psst, the maple pecan sounds super yummy. I can't help but chuckle. Okay, I'll get the maple pecan latte. That does still sound good though. Like, I'm not mad at her choice. The waitress nods and leaves with a smile. Barely a minute passes before our waitress rushes back to the table. Here are your lattes. Thanks so much. I'll bring your cheesecake over as soon as it's ready. Lucia peers over at me with a curious glimmer in her eyes. Do you think it's too hot to sip? I'm sure it's fine. I lift the cup to my lips and decide to take a swig. Yikes! My throat burns as I try desperately to clear it inconspicuously. I do my best not to sputter on Lucia as I reply, It's quite warm still. She giggles softly. You didn't need to be my lab rat. Just trying to be helpful. Lucia raises her cup and takes a careful sip. It's not that hot. Are you trying to scare me? Well, it is Halloween. How did she not scald herself? This bitch is fireproof. Does she have no sense of temperature? Maybe that's why she chose outdoor seating on this chilly day. Fire cannot kill a dragon. Maybe she's a dragon. That would make her like the perfect girlfriend. Loves small beverages, is super sweet, and is also a dragon. 10 out of 10. Do you like celebrating Halloween? I falter, unsure of how to explain myself. I used to. Lucy realizes what she's asked. Sorry, I can't believe I forgot that today is... No apology necessary. I try my best to steer the conversation with a lighter tone in my voice. I do like Halloween, by the way. I just haven't done much other than hand out candy for a few years. The kids in my neighborhood love my place. They know I always have tons of treats. You only hand out candy? You haven't dressed up? No, but I did like that part when I was in high school. Great! I'm going to a costume party tonight. What do you think? Spooky or sexy? Huh? What kind of costume should I go with? I have a closet full of options. Oh my god. 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 Chat, this is probably the most important decision we can make this entire playthrough. Spooky costume or sexy costume? I'm kind of leaning towards spooky because it would be kind of weird to, like, I don't know, tell somebody that you just met. I mean, you have a fast connection with them, but tell someone that you just met, Ayo, you should dress like a sexy mouse. I'm a sexy mouse. Duh. Spooksy. God, I wish that was an option. Third option. Both. Speaking of, if anyone redeems Rose Lily, I have a very special model that I can use. Let's do spooky. Spooky. It's classic. She grins with an almost fiendish quality. Yes! I like how you think. Maybe I'll dress up as a witch. I can see her pulling off that look. Your hair is perfect for a witch costume. You could go for a real mystical vibe. You think so? Absolutely. Well, would you let me tell your fortune then? I shrug casually. Sure, I'd love to get some insight. Lucia reaches over and takes my hand in her own. She studies it carefully, squinting with exaggerated flourish. Evening. There are stars in the night sky. I see her headed towards a house. She closes her eyes and yanks my arm even harder. I nearly fall across the table. Hey, be careful! Shh! There's a crowd of swirling capes and vibrant dresses. Oh! Sadly, there are no redeems on YouTube, I think. No, there are no redeems. Yet. I'm pretty sure they're working on it. I'm pretty sure that that's a feature that they're, like, thinking about adding in the near future, especially with, Twitch kind of shooting itself in the foot. I think they're gonna want to, like, swoop in and grab that. Drinks and candies are being passed around a colorfully lit room. You'll arrive there very soon. I will? Lucia releases my hand from her grip and opens her eyes. So, did you want to come to the party with me? I was gonna go alone, but it would be great to bring a... Lucia's words drift away from me. My limbs stiffen as if I'd suddenly been plunged into icy water. A party on Halloween. That night. He went out that night. I was the one that called him. I bit my cheek, desperate to escape the coursing river of guilt. No freaking out. Not now. I dig my nails into my palm, trying to snap myself away from the echo of that Halloween party. Okay. Focus and breathe. The idea of rejecting Lucia hurts, but I can't go with her. The voice of my therapist saying trauma trigger rings in my ears. I promised that I'd stop being self-destructive, and I can't risk Lucia seeing me like that. I can't. Not tonight, at least. The ghost of that distant night disappears as quickly as it arrived. I'm at the cafe with Lucia. I'm okay. Lucia grips the handle of her mug and spins it absentmindedly. I thought you didn't have plans? I have a date later. Sorry that I didn't mention it. A frown escapes her. A date? I nod. Yep, with a bowl of leftover candy. Oh! Relief washes over her. If it isn't obvious already, I'm painfully single. It's not obvious. Really? Of course it isn't. You're so pretty. And we're back to being hyper gay. For a second, my heart skips a beat. Wow. I realize how rude I might be coming off. I mean, thanks. We break eye contact and struggle to continue. That's one way to snap back. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Come on, keep it up. So, what's it like being a florist? My ploy to redirect the conversation is painfully evident. Lucia doesn't brush me off, luckily. My family's owned a flower shop for 3 generations, so it's pretty natural for me. Oh, a generational flower shop. Oh, my heart. What about you? Are you a student? No, I graduated from a tourism and hospitality program. I work at the Spring Dream Suites. That sounds interesting. It's really not. My job is to fend off bad reviews, basically. Hold up, I'm gonna finish off this pizza crust. I love pizza crust. Lucia laughs, but I'm afraid it's forced. Do you like to travel? I haven't really traveled since I was a kid. But if I ever had the chance, I'd love to work at a resort. Just to see what it's like to live in a warm climate. Count me in! I'm always down to book a room in an island resort. I promise I'll leave a good review too, if you let me get a discount. I can't help but giggle. I'll do my best. I'm curious about your job. When did you join your family's business? They started training me when I was young. I spent plenty of summers playing in my grandmother's garden. She started the business with my grandfather. It's beautiful. They have a huge property out in the countryside. I loved putting together bouquets for my mom when I was little. My grandma would help me pick them, so they always turned out perfectly. She called it my training. Her plan worked, though. I'm running the business with my parents now. Hell yeah. My grandparents are retired, but they still help out when we're short-handed. Lucia's gaze seemed to intensify. It feels like she's looking right through me. Is she alright? She notices my concern and smiles reassuringly. Sorry, I was thinking about those summers as a kid. I can still picture the day my sister made a flower crown out of daisies. She put it on my head and called me a princess. It was just a game to Kate, but... She clears her throat. That was the day I fell in love with flowers. I'll never forget it. Lucia. That was a vulnerable moment. Her hands tremble ever so slightly. Take her hand. Hold her sweet hand in yours. And give it a little smooch. Give it a little smooch. She must have been nervous to share that memory with me. That's so special. Hello, ladies. Here's your pumpkin cheesecake. Waitress! Not now. We're being homosexual. Before I can finish, our waitress interrupts. We wait for her to set down our plates and cutlery. Can I get you anything else? I think we're good, thanks. The waitress steps away and heads inside. I fiddle with my notebook and flip through the pages while Lucia sips her drink. Elle? Can I ask you a question? I smile, eager to start chatting again. Go ahead. Lucia motions towards the table. What's that? Oh, it's my notebook. Like a diary? Sort of. It has a bit of everything. Unfinished thoughts, sketches, and some journaling. I don't usually carry it around. You brought it for your dad? Maybe it was obvious, or maybe she understands me. Yeah, I did. I thought about reading it to him, but I felt weird once I got there. I talked to him instead, which wasn't much easier. I think I know how you feel. I tried talking to Kate today, but I couldn't. I left her voicemails instead. It felt closer to how things were. Almost normal. It's subtle, but Lucia's voice breaks as she trails off. Give her a hug! Hug each other! And then kiss. Instinctively, Rachel across the table. Oh, planned hand-holding! Planned hand-holding is in effect, people! For a fraction of a second, my hand rests atop her own. Yes! I pull away swiftly, fearing that I've invaded her space. Oh, sorry. She stares off at her lap, unmoving. Thank you. That was nice. I told you! Hold her hand. Give it a little smooch. For a moment, I envisioned the horrendous precipice Lucy is hovering on the edge of. Unfiltered, unprocessed, raw grief. One day she's going to realize that in the infinite possibilities of this universe, she will never see her sister again. The realization that there will never be another moment shared with Kate. Hand-holding? I know. No, they did say this game was 18+. The end of making memories and the beginning of their blurring. It seems clear, but it never is. Elle? Yeah? Lucia bites her lip and stares into her cup. I have a question that I'm afraid to ask anyone else. I don't want to be weird or rude, but you seem to understand loss better than anyone I've spoken to. I struggle to give her a good answer. What if I make her feel worse? I decide to warn her. Honestly, I'm not the best person to get grief counseling from. I need someone to be real with me. I'm tired of being brushed off. Suddenly, the circle of chairs in the church basement revisits me. I felt brushed off too. It was so discouraging. Alright. What did people say to you? I heard that the stages can take years, but that the pain won't last forever. Is that true? The stages? Oh, the stages? Honestly, I forget how much people like to focus on that idea. My grief wasn't in stages. At least, not in the way I expected. She gives me a quizzical stare through glassy eyes. Emotions aren't dominoes. They don't fall in a logical pattern. My grief falls like sudden rain on a cloudless day. I can wake up in acceptance and go to bed angry or bargaining. Lucia's eyes brighten. That was poetic. I ignore her praise. Look, I know that your sister is always on your mind right now, but there's going to be days where you forget about Kate for longer than you ever thought possible. I forget about my dad all the time. Lucia seems a bit startled by my admission. There are moments when his memory doesn't stir any pain or tears. Because you're healing? No. I feel ashamed or angry. Even dull at times. It always feels wrong. You'll probably be disgusted with yourself for pulling it together and burying how deeply you miss her. I felt punished for trying to function. Going to work, visiting friends, even getting dressed. Putting away the pain is harder than carrying it. I just want you to know that there's no winning. There's no easy way to process this loss. She blinks carefully, intentionally, as if she's truly absorbing the information. You know, Lucy stops to clear her throat before continuing. I didn't plan to go back to Kate's grave today. You didn't? No. I was driving around mindlessly and it sort of dawned on me that wandering in a daze was disrespectful to her memory. She would have done anything for a clear moment. I'm not sure that I follow. I don't want to demand answers, but I can't nod and pretend it makes sense like that grief group did. I'm not here to tell her that she's young and that'll make it easier. That was wrong of them. Anecdotes? Everybody says that word differently. Literally every time I ask someone, they say it differently. Anecdotes. We're just gonna go with anecdotes. Anecdotes and adages aren't solutions. I want to listen and do my best to understand her, but Lucia doesn't move to explain herself. If you're not ready to tell... No, it's fine. Sorry, I need a moment. I nod and wait for her to gather her thoughts. She takes a deep breath and begins. Kate suffered from chronic health problems and taught me what a privilege a pain-free day is. She tried her best to live a normal life, but her health had a habit of stealing happy moments from her. One morning, Kate didn't get up for breakfast. My mom went upstairs to check on her. They had plans to go shopping, so it was odd that she hadn't started getting ready. When my mom walked in, Kate wouldn't wake up. She was taking prescription drugs for her illnesses, and she aspirated in her sleep. It was sudden. She died all alone. And now I'm here, 1 week later, enjoying a pumpkin spice latte while my sister starts to rot in the ground. My heart shudders as she speaks of the word rot. So yeah, I get what you mean. There are no right choices. Every moment without her feels wrong. I feel like a stranger in my own life. I never say anything like that, especially to someone I've just met, but I spoke without hesitating. And now I'm regretting every word. I'm afraid that you think I'm a freak. No, it's horrible, but everything you said makes perfect sense. I don't want to tell her anything else. I don't want her to know that my heart doesn't feel like it did before. Lucia gives me a look that cuts deep. This girl is staring into my eyes, looking for hope. I reach out and squeeze her hand, but the comfort is forced. I don't know how to tell her that I'm broken too. She doesn't deserve the whiplash of false hope. I don't want to see her bite that apple. I don't want to watch it turn to bitter ash on her tongue. I pull my hand away and break the silence. Can I put my number in your phone? Lucia straightens her posture and reaches for her bag. Sure. She unlocks her phone and hands it over. I carefully type my information into the new contact menu, making sure I leave no mistakes. I know it's a cliche, but you can call me at any time. I don't care why, either. It doesn't have to be an emergency. She nods as she stashes her cell phone back into her bag. Thank you. Still have questions, if you're willing. I feel an acidic hesitation burning in my throat. Not sure if I'm the person you should be around right now. I think you're wrong. I don't think I am. I tried talking to other people dealing with loss, and it didn't help. Sometimes I wonder if the opposite would have been better. Maybe you need to surround yourself with people who don't get it. How would that help? Maybe you'll convince yourself that you're just like them. Fake it till you make it, but the grief counseling version. Look, I get it if you don't want to talk about grief, but I don't need kid gloves. She points to my lap. Clock? Hold on, I'm gonna mute myself what the clock is going. Alright, the clock is done. Sorry, I just didn't want it interrupting this because it feels wrong to let the clock interrupt this. I want to give this visual novel the respect it deserves, you know? I'm a big fan. I want to hear the L that's in that notebook. I know you've already let me listen to her. When? The poetry. Grief that falls like sudden rain on a cloudless day. I'll bet you $20 that's been written in there. As much as I wouldn't mind paying for the meal, I won't bet against her. I know she's right, and she knows it too. I push aside my uncertainty. It's not like you have to see her again. If your answers freak her out, it was her choice to insist on them. But I find myself imagining her in my future. Where she fits in, I'm not sure. She fits in your bed. Snuggling. But I'm certain that I want to see her again. Okay, I'll bite. Finally! First, you have to make a promise. What kind of promise? When we go our separate ways, you have to text me after, even if it's to say bye forever. Okay. I promise that I'll text you. I wink at Lucia playfully. Ask me anything. I'm an open book. She grins at the notebook pun. Okay, let's start weird. Was your dad's service an open casket? Yup. Did he look himself? They never do. I hadn't seen a body before Kate's service. I don't know what I expected a dead person to look like, but it wasn't that. Looking at her made me feel sick. Or maybe I was afraid. I couldn't believe it was her. She looked like a doll. Like a weird imitation of Kate. That's all the preservatives that they put into embalming. Man, fuck embalming. All my homies hate the embalming process. Just cremate us. Like, once I'm done with this body, just, like, cremate it, dude. It's also better for the environment. Like a weird imitation of Kate. Even when I wasn't staring at her, I knew exactly where she was. I couldn't tear my mind away from that image. She definitely didn't look like she was sleeping. She looked dead. I could barely focus on the surface. She was all I saw. It's awful, but I can't really remember what anyone said to me that day. The eulogies are a blur. I pursed my lips. How did no one notice how she felt about seeing her dead sister? Why didn't anyone help her? I'm sorry nobody warned you before the funeral. I'm sorry that no one saw what you were dealing with during it either. You needed support, and you deserved it. Thanks. Having a viewing isn't right for everyone. Please don't worry, it's okay to be freaked out. You're not the first person to feel that way, trust me. There's a term for it. Seriously? Yeah, it's called Uncanny Valley. When you look at someone you've seen animated with life and see that emptiness, that absolute absence of energy, it's different for everyone, but you're not gonna like it. Sorry you saw Kate that way. You deserved the option not to. Lucia frowns sharply. You're right. No one asked if I wanted an open casket. My parents did all the planning. I just showed up. My mom did the opposite. She dragged me to every moment of planning. Choosing Dad's casket. It's burned into my memory. There's no winning when you don't get a choice. We both deserve to make our own decisions. Lucia nods as her expression softens. After the funeral, I kept pulling a photo of Kate out of my wallet. I couldn't help but stare and cry. I was doing whatever I could to remember her the way she was, instead of the shell I saw that day. I like to think that focusing on her smile helped. She sits back in her chair and motions towards her bag. Would you like to see it? I say that every decision, because I'm one of those bitches. Sure, yeah. Sure. Lucia carefully places a small photograph on the table between us. I sit forward and peer down, bracing myself. Oh, she's so pretty! Instantly, I feel my heart shudder out of rhythm as I take in the smiling image of a girl my own age. She was so young. I look back to Lucia and try to keep my response simple. Your sister had a beautiful smile. She nods in agreement. I took that photo when we were gardening together last summer. Weeding my grandma's garden was always a pain, but Kate did her best to make me laugh whenever she could. She spent more time gathering up bouquets than actually pulling weeds. I didn't mind, though. Chores weren't so bad when she was around to help. I think Kate smiled every day of her life. I'll miss that the most. She was a bright light. That's why I always wanted to be like my big sister. Lucia reaches over and takes the photo, tucking it away carefully in her wallet. Oh, please don't feel pressure. I get it if you can't share anymore. I know that I'm not entitled to your pain or experiences, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to hear them. Can I ask another question? Here I go, making another save. Go for it. Lucia's lips quiver as her amber eyes betray a sliver of anxiety. You're sure? Please, I want to help. She swallows audibly. Do you feel like he's watching you? An old weight descends and perches on my shoulders. The hovering of familiar eyes. A specter I thought I'd left in the past. I shrug it away with a practiced breath. In the first few weeks after he died, yeah. Quite often. That goes away fast, I think. You don't remember? I can't tell her how I yelled at nothingness in the days before Dad's funeral. How I ordered him away for my own comfort. That I didn't want him to visit, ever. I needed to live without his ghostly gaze. That stays between us. Simplicity is best. It goes away. Or you just decide that you don't care what they see. A hint of blush touches her cheek. Were you thinking about... Nope. It better go away. I felt weird showering today. Pervert. I couldn't stop picturing her standing on the other side of the curtain waiting. It's eerie. I feel like I'm going crazy. I promise you you're not crazy. I've been there. How did you do it? What? Cope? How did I cope? That's an impossible question. Oh, more saving. Let's keep going. Honestly, that's an answer I'm still searching for. You must have tried something. Oh, Lucia, I tried plenty. I decided to turn the question back towards her. What have you tried in the first week? My hair, I guess. It wasn't this color last week. I had the appointment before Kate died. She booked it for me. I couldn't bring myself to cancel it, so I went to her funeral like this. There's a hint of regret in her voice. There's nothing wrong with fashion colors. Maybe from your perspective. I thought it would make me happy, but it didn't work. I remember when I felt that way too. When I thought that a haircut or a tattoo could spill some color into the gray haze. I regret not rescheduling, at least. My cousin implied that I was trying to steal Kate's spotlight. Your cousin can fight me! And here comes Rosemary with the steel chair! Some of Kate's friends did too. Spotlight? What a poor choice of words. That wasn't fair of them to say. But it was. I did that when she was alive. Kate was my best friend and worst enemy. I got so jealous of her constantly. The worst part was Kate knew it, and she always did her best to reassure me that I was pretty or popular too. It didn't matter what was bothering me, she would zero in on it and try to fix things. Kate could be too kind. It was disarming and infuriating. And as much as she bugged me, I would do anything to get that back. I want her to make it better. I need to know what to do with all of this. I'm overflowing with feelings towards her, and there's no resolution. I can't work it out with her. Every chance slipped away in an instant. There's no outlet for this ocean of pain, and it hurts. I want it to stop, just for a second. I want a break. I can't give you a break. No one can. I know. I raise my hand to stop her. Wait, I wasn't done. I can't give you a break, but when things get too stormy, I can be your anchor. I wait, half expecting her to burst into laughter over the lame sentiment. Or maybe she'll pity me and say thanks as quickly as possible. Her eyes grow wide in disbelief. Why? You don't even know me. I think I know you better than you want me to. I know the questions in your head. I've lived them. Lucia freezes. Maybe that scares you? I feel like you know me too, and it's uncomfortable. It fills me with insecurities I didn't even know I had. But I still want to see you again. I want to meet the other pieces of you. Oh, that's so beautiful! What the fuck? Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I'm sorry, Oh my god, that hits like a ton of fucking bricks! Oh my god. Oh! Oh, that hits like a ton of bricks. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, this makes my heart hurt in the best way. It's exploding with rainbows and sadness all at once. I love this. Oh god, me too. Whew. I mean, I don't know your favorite color or hobbies, but I want to. She doesn't respond. That's the long-winded version of why I'll be there if you call. If you want to see me again. Lucia finally emerges from her silence. I do. But if you're going to know my story, I need to hear more of yours. I can tell you're censoring it. Oh yeah, no, you're fine. Like, if you're just messing around in the background, like, believe me, I'm totally fine with that. I do that when I watch other people's streams, so no shade, no tea. I'm not blind either. When I asked you about the Halloween party, you froze up. I saw it. Something stole you from our conversation for just a second. You don't need to hide that from me. If I'm gonna be vulnerable, can't you be too? I promise I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not going anywhere. Will you tell me what happened to you? Oh my god. Oh. Fuck, we're going with the brutal honesty route. Brutal honesty. Yes, but if you have questions, wait until I'm finished. Lucia nods in agreement. Okay, I can do that. Fair warning, it's a long and messy story. If it's too much to hear right now, please stop me. I will if I need to. Alright. I swallow, but the lump in my throat remains, and I take a sip of cold brew. It's an uncomfortable ache. Until today, I hadn't felt that for months. Maybe even years. It's better than feeling nothing, right? I turned my attention back to Lucia. I'm going to think aloud here. If I come off erratic, that's why. Honestly, I'm ashamed of myself. And that's not typical. I've hated myself. I've felt angry, lonely, and stupid. But never ashamed. There was no one around that I cared enough about to feel shame. When you started asking questions, you made me reflect for the first time in a while. Despite my declaration of honesty, I can't help but hold back. Vulnerability is not my thing. It's exactly why therapy has always been a struggle. I decided to borrow the attitude I fought so hard to leave behind. Fuck it. Here goes nothing. 4 years ago, I went to a Halloween party. Lucia's eyebrows waved quickly, as expected. I was home from college that weekend, and I was so excited to get together with my old friends. We'd all gone to different schools, so it's something we'd been planning for a while. We all dressed up together before the crowd arrived, and started out pretty innocently. But a ton of people showed up, and the party got kinda crazy. My friend was hosting, and she didn't mind, luckily. Originally, I planned to stay the night, but I ended up drinking way too much, and I needed to go home early. My boyfriend stayed on campus that weekend, so he couldn't give me a ride. I called my dad after midnight, and he agreed to come pick me up. He wasn't mad or anything. He was glad that I called when I needed him. I was just having fun and overindulged. He understood. My dad was driving to my friend's place when a teenager in a truck blew through a stop sign and T-boned him. When the emergency services arrived, my dad was still awake. He didn't make it to the hospital. I wait, trying to gauge Lucia's response. She seems okay. I'll keep going. The kid that caused the accident walked away with superficial scratches. He was lucky in that regard. But mentally, he was traumatized. I don't have any ill will towards him. Anymore. He did his best to make amends with my family. Honestly, I hope he can live a normal life. One mistake shouldn't haunt him forever. After my dad died, things with my mom went downhill pretty quickly. I left school to stay home with her. It didn't feel right to leave her all alone. Things fizzled out with my boyfriend because of the distance, so I was dealing with my stuff too. I tried to be there for my mom, but nothing worked. When I spoke with her, she made me feel like I didn't exist. And when I tried to tell her about my feelings, She shut me down. She treated suffering like a competition. She'd say that he was just my dad. She'd rant on about how we're meant to lose our parents, that he was her husband and that her pain would never end. I barely recognized her. There was even a time when I thought she might just... I didn't know what to do. I was practically still a teenager. I catch myself holding back, but pushed through. It was fucking scary. Lucia purses her lips and nods solemnly. Her eyes speak as sincere and I'm so sorry as she possibly can. But she stays true to her word and doesn't interrupt, sensing that my story isn't complete. Without much of an explanation, she suddenly went on a vacation and never really came back. She moved to the West Coast and got a fresh start. I grit my teeth, forcing myself to say what I'd only ever felt before. My mom said that I was always welcome to join her. But I know she only offered because she knew I'd refuse to move. She knew that I wouldn't follow her. Eventually, she ended up hating my dad. I think it was her way of coping. Their marriage wasn't perfect, but she clung to everything that was wrong. He was a shift worker, always rotating from days to nights. It meant that he didn't get to spend as much time with us as he would have liked, but it paid for my mom's lifestyle. She always had new clothes, a nice car, whatever she asked him for. I know he loved her. He used gifts to try and make up for his schedule. My mom doesn't seem to remember that side of him. I guess it's easier to hate someone rather than mourn them. She never fails to shit-talk him when we're on the phone. In her eyes, her new boyfriend is perfect and my dad was human garbage. I can't stand to listen to her for too long, so I keep her calls short and spaced out. My therapist calls it creating boundaries. It feels like giving up, though. Because in the end, my mom got what she wanted. My mom's goal was to get rid of me, and she won. Call it a mental breakdown, midlife crisis, or whatever you want. There's something I've never been able to shake off even years later. As I fight to utter them, the words try to escape me. They're unspeakable thoughts. Lucia looks at me questioning, and I nod. Elle, you're safe with me. Please. You can say it. I exhale. Every day I wake up and think I want to go home. But I can't. That part of my life. That door is locked. I shake my head, disagreeing with my statement. No, that's not it. I want to go home. But my mom burned the whole house down. When I think of that part of my life, it's like sifting through a pile of ashes. There's nothing left. I did stupid things trying to numb the pain. I partied, slept around. I couldn't go a day without smoking. I was always reaching for painkillers too. I think I convinced myself they'd quiet the throbbing in my head. House parties were too close to losing him, so I went to nightclubs instead. I remember dancing in the middle of a neon crowd, feeling more alone than I'd ever thought possible. I was surrounded by people smiling and partying, but there was no happiness. I realized no one was looking for me. I was screaming for help, and no one could hear me. My dad was dead. My mom had a new life. I was completely alone. Those choices were my own, but they were choices my parents would have protected me from. There were days when I laid in bed and I couldn't pull the blankets off. All I could do was reach for a bottle. My own existence was too heavy. It was crushing. I got lucky in the end. My doctor probably saved my life. His office called for an annual checkup, and instead of canceling, I felt compelled to go. I didn't tell much, but he saw the signs and pushed me into treatment. Lucia, I'm not the kind of person you should be around. I'm not good. My mom, Warm tears spilled down my frigid cheeks like spring rain on forgotten snow. My throat constricts, threatening to choke my words into silence. I don't know what I did. I don't know why she left. I don't know why she stopped loving me. Lucia reaches across the table and squeezes my hand. As her fingertips brush across my skin, my shoulders drop. How does she do that? She has such a subtle presence. The smallest gesture feels like she's wrapped me in a fuzzy blanket. Why Why do I feel safe telling you this? Lucy's expression softens as she pulls her hand away. Maybe this wasn't an accidental connection. I hastily wipe away my tears with my sleeve, doing my best to compose myself. What do you mean? I never planned to visit the cemetery. My sister wasn't the reason I pulled over. It was because of you. The universe put you there and pulled me in like a magnet. I was sent to find you. I think we were meant to meet. Let's do this because I feel like this will. Because it's like, it's not like you're definitely right, it's a maybe you're right. So because I want these two together. I want them to snuggle and hug. Maybe you're right. When I visited his grave, I left nearly as soon as I got there. I felt stupid for thinking a visit could help me find closure. I was going to leave, but I felt a pull. So I sat down and stayed. A magnetism. That could have been the allergy meds, though. They're prescribed by my doctor for anxiety. I took more than I'm supposed to. Lucia stiffens. I know it's wrong. I'm not perfect. I'm an idiot, honestly. I promise I won't do it again. But if I hadn't, we probably wouldn't have met. She nods sympathetically. That's something to talk to your doctor about, Elle. Or a mental health professional. Please be careful. Kate took her meds properly and it still had unexpected consequences. Make an appointment when you go home. I nod in agreement. I will. Good. I'll hold you to it. She sticks out her tongue playfully. Book that, and our next cheesecake date is on me. Another date? Maybe she is my type. Sorry for the cough. It's a deal. Great. Also, I want to make a point. I don't think anxiety meds are why we met. I have to argue fate's case. I think there was a sign we were meant to find each other. I just couldn't see it until now. What sign? The bouquet of blue roses for Kate. They weren't there during her burial. Someone dropped them off afterward. I don't follow. Well, the thing about blue roses is they're not a typical flower to leave at a grave all on their own. Usually you have an arrangement with all kinds of accents. Roses weren't something Kate liked either, but there's a local tradition behind blue roses. No one really remembers this kind of stuff anymore except for florists in the region. It's a lost tradition. What's the tradition? In folklore, children would leave a single blue flower at the grave of their father. Blue roses became particularly popular because they weren't naturally occurring. The gesture symbolizes peace or serenity, depending on who you ask. My grandfather always told me that leaving a blue rose would help a father's spirit move on. Otherwise, they'd cling to this world to watch over their children. It grants the deceased an acceptance of their passing and allows their children to grieve. I'm certain I was meant to find that rose. Your dad was meant to have it. Lucia's words at his gravesite echo through my mind. I do have an idea if you want to leave him something meaningful. So that's what she meant. It seemed like more of a coincidence than anything. Still, I'm left with questions. I don't get your meaning. Why do you think the rose was fateful? It seemed like someone dropped them off after Kate's service, that's all. I think you're wrong. Fate put those roses there for a reason, regardless of who brought them. You're meant to take part in that tradition for him. I feel frustration ebb in my voice. Yeah, but why? Why was the question that always haunted me. Why did my dad have to die? Why did Mom leave? Why was everything familiar gone in an instant? Lucy smiles with patience beyond her years as if she's waiting for my realization. Why? Because your dad doesn't need to worry about you being alone anymore. I'm here now. I fumble, racing to organize my thoughts. Do you really mean that? Elle, that rose was waiting for us. He deserves to be at peace. You're not alone anymore. I'm not going anywhere if you want me around. My tears threatened to overflow, but I craned my neck backwards to stop them. Yeah, that's what I did earlier. Do Deep breath in, deep breath out. When I look back to her, I can only bear to whisper my answer. I want you to stay. I will. For the first time since my dad died, I feel a bond. A new connection. I don't want to lose her. You'll keep your promise, right? What did I promise? I grin at her. To text me once you drop me off. Lucy reaches for her phone and begins to tap away at the screen. Is she texting me right now? She gasps suddenly. Oh shoot! We need to go soon, it's getting pretty late. If we stay much longer, you're gonna miss your trick-or-treaters. You've got that date with your leftover candy, too. As much as I don't want to leave quite yet, I don't want to keep Lucia too late. We better go. I don't need kids egging my place. Plus, I don't want you missing that party. I think I'll skip out. It's been an interesting day. Well, I hope you find the energy to go out. Halloween is my favorite holiday. Mine too. And don't worry, I'm gonna send you my picture of my costume. I'm sure you'll love them. I can't help but bite at my lip. Looking forward to it. Lucia waves towards the waitress. Can we get the bill, please? I'll get that right away. The waitress glances towards our untouched plates. I'm sorry, was there something wrong with your cheesecake? No, we're in a bit of rush, that's all. Could we get takeout boxes, please? Oh, of course! I don't know why I made her southern. It's what she deserves. Thanks for coming. Happy Halloween. With the bill paid, we cross the street and head to Lucia's car. I focus on giving Lucia directions to my neighborhood. I can't help but feel eager to get a box of Halloween decorations dusted off and on my doorstep. I'm in number 235. Right here? Yeah, that's my place. Lucia pulls over and parks the car. As the engine switches off, I can't help but wonder what she's up to. I thought she'd just drop me off. Let me walk you to your door. You don't have to do that. She giggles softly. Of course I do! This place is crawling with monsters! Aww. Little superheroes, princesses, and ghouls begin to trickle out into the streets, passing by houses without porch lights. I hurry up the steps and unlock my door. As I turn the key, I feel Lucia's eyes on my back. What? No goodbye? I stick out my tongue. Don't act so worried. I'm not ditching you just yet. I look back and pop the door open, hit the light switch, and watch as the dim orange glow flickers on. Looks like you get plenty of kids on this street. Oh yeah, I rarely have leftover candy. That's too bad, I would have liked to steal some. You're lucky then. What's that? I have a stash just for myself. And I might be willing to share. Doesn't that mean you'd have to make plans to see me again? I guess so. Lucia steps closer. I can smell the faint remnants of a pumpkin and espresso aroma swirling around her. Her gaze drifts downwards from my eyes and traces my lips. I like that. Is she? Boom! An eruption of laughter echoes from across the street. A group of trick-or-treaters were trying to scare their friends. Lucy adjusts the straps on her purse, clearly flustered. I've been thinking about our next date. I can't help but smile when she says date. You have? Yep. Maybe you could go with something casual. Coffee wasn't casual. I meant the topics. I'd love to know what your favorite music is or what your childhood pets were like. I want to know more about you. My heartbeat quickens. I like where you're going with that. I can do simple, as long as you spill some details too. I want to hear all about your past. Ex-boyfriends, adventures, everything. Lucia begins to fidget again, this time with her necklace. Well, you won't have to worry about boyfriends. She seems anxious about the admission. That's a relief, no competition. I try my best to make her laugh, but all I get is a grin. Worth it. Do you like horror movies? Yes! Although I'm more into ghost stories, slashers aren't my thing. Alright. Did you want to come over tomorrow night? We can eat candy and watch a haunted house film. Her eyes light up. I'd love to! Me too! Can I come to that date too, please? I won't even say anything. And I'll leave once you start snogging. Give you some privacy. I'll be the cool mom. I'll bring drinks and snacks and condoms if need be. Great, it's a plan. Although I do have one question for you. What is it? Should I expect flowers? Always. Guess I better buy a vase. Don't be silly, I can bring one. Lucia reaches into her purse and taps at her phone. It's getting late. I think I should head home. There's something else I wanted to say before you go. Okay. It's that if you do change your mind about us seeing each other again, it's okay. Why do you say that? Because meeting you was a blessing either way. You made me see myself so clearly. I used to think I'd never made a step forward, that my grief hadn't changed. Today you were a mirror into my past. I could finally see that I've been doing whatever I needed to. I'm growing. So, blue roses and fate aside, you lost your sister this week. I'd rather you lean on me and not the other way around. I also want you to take as much time as you need before we see each other again. If you wake up tomorrow and can't get out of bed, that's natural. I'm not in a rush. I'll wait for when you're ready to spend time together. Put yourself first. Yes! We stay in a healthy relationship dynamic. Lucia nods. Thank you for saying that. But just so you know, you can't get up our date that easily. I expect chocolate bars and lollipops tomorrow night, or you're in big trouble. Good to know. I'll be ready. Lucia bites at her bottom lip absent-mindedly. Give her a kiss, give her a kiss, give her a kiss, 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 kiss. Kiss! I'm glad that I found you today. Can't wait to get to know you better. Lucia inches closer to me. Good night, Hal. Hug! Hug good too. Oh! Lucia wraps her arms around me in a warm embrace. I think you're an amazing person. Thank you for today. Fuck off, motorcycles! I'm reading a sad visual novel! Fuck right off. Thank you. I smile. No. Thank you. I'm glad that you found me, Lucia. I squeeze her tight. Good night. Beautiful hug. Wow, that was... Oh, it was a credits! Credits! Oh, that was so sweet. That was so... Oh. Oh, my heart aches in the best way. That was... God, I haven't been really touched by a story by that in like a long time. It was just, oh, wow. Just bravo. Just, oh my God. I'm speechless. What can you say? It was so beautiful and so sensitive and so, it was wonderful. I'm a huge fan. That was great. I can't give this enough praise. Like, that was just wonderful. Wow. That was really sweet and nice. I know. Exceeded my... Yeah, I know. This is free. This is free. I paid $0 for this. Wow! That's like if someone's like, hey, I'm gonna give you some free food, and you're like, oh, sick, thanks. And then they show up with a fucking... a bucket full of crab legs, a whole bottle of a really good booze, and... Oh, wait, hold up, is this the post-credit scene? Post-credit scene! Hold up. Golden morning light trickles across my windowsill. What a beautiful sunrise. For the first time that I can remember, I'm glad to see a new day. I snuggle under the covers to enjoy one last second of warmth. I sigh. Instead of angry words, anxious dreams, or dark cravings, there's only one thing on my mind. One person. I imagine her in this room with me. What would that be like? Maybe I'd make her pancakes? Pancakes! We could sit down for breakfast and chat the morning away. I bet she'd love a coffee. The fantasy warms the forgotten ice in my heart. Despite being alone, I want to say it. Good morning, Lucia. I'll see you soon. It's a promise to myself. One I intend to keep. Have the people who made this done more visual novels? Let me check their Steam slot page. See if there's anything else by this company. Turn the spooky music back on. Let's see. Developer. We've also got Starlight Shores and a Starlight Shores demo. Starlight Shores would be good for after Halloween, because I'm trying to do like only like spooky and autumn, fall kind of things for October, but like, wow, just I'm gonna follow them. I'm gonna follow them. I'm just a really big fan of just how deeply genuine that story was. How it really, it didn't just lightly graze on the surface of grief. It was like, it really like put its hands deep in there and wiggled around, and that was amazing. I'm breathless. That was truly spectacular, and I'm impressed. Quite that again. That was free. Hold up, let me see. Does Starlight Shores cost anything? Yeah, it's like $3.99, so I'm gonna add it to my wish list. But yeah, next month I'm thinking about doing this. But oh, that was amazing. That was so nice. I'm gonna end the stream here because I am done with the game. But thank you all so much for coming. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, if you are dealing with grief, reach out to someone. Don't stay alone. Find friends. We have the safe haven in my Discord. Somebody in there, myself included, could probably get you some like hotlines if you need it. But just take care of yourself and be good to yourself and be good to the people around you, and just have a wonderful rest of your night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow for some more stuff. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye for now. Have a nice time zone.